Hello, everyone. I'm Katie Sanders. I'm the managing editor of PolitiFact. I'm based in St. Petersburg, Florida at the Poynter Institute for Media Studies. Okay. So true to the theme of my presentation, I will try to go fast so we can get to more discussion and get to lunch, very importantly. So I'm going to go this fast. When you think about the speed required in American fact-checking these days, I'm sure this image comes to mind. Me and Bill Adair, you guys are in the other cars, and we're swerving around lies and misinformation. In truth, the reality of daily fact-checking is only slightly less intense and glamorous. So PolitiFact is an American fact-checking organization that was founded in 2007. We are split between offices in Washington, D.C. and St. Pete. Our staff is small. We're about 10 people, give or take, but we cover a lot. We cover the president, we cover Congress, we cover elections, big one coming up. And we also cover a lot of misinformation on Facebook. And we do this with our Truthometer. Now, PolitiFact was very innovative from the start in American fact-checking. We did a few really cool things at the beginning, which I wasn't actually there for, but kudos to Bill. But from the start, we had this really cool and different vision. So our website is driven by data. So you can look up fact checks based on a category or a topic that you're really interested in. Or you can look up fact checks based on somebody that you're considering voting for, or definitely somebody you're not considering voting for. The more we fact check someone, we create a scorecard that carries with that person. So that's really cool. Scorecard that you happen to see up there is for our most fact-checked politician right now, President Donald Trump. We also invented the Truthometer, which sounds like a scientific instrument. It's really not, but it's going to give you the best indication of what our vetted reporting concludes about a given statement. So these tend to be the more popular ratings, false and pants on fire. We've inspired versions of our rating scale all across the world. And finally, PolitiFact also knew that we could do even more fact-checking coverage at the local level. So we started this Mcdonald's affiliates model where we found partners in willing states to give the Truthometer treatment to their politicos. So we have one in Texas, actually, right here, a longtime partner at the Austin American-Statesman. As I said, we have a big election coming up, or actually it's already here. You may think this is a photo from Donald Trump's inauguration in 2017. It's actually not. It's all the Democrats who are running for president in one photo. We got them together, you guys. No, really, we have a really exciting period ahead of us, and I think that our foundations that we started 12 years ago are really going to serve us well. But there's kind of a problem with that, and if I could go back and edit this slide, I would add problems and make that plural. We are pretty much who we are, or who we were is who we are now. We are a team of journalists, a team of writers, a team of editors. Our specialty is words. That's pretty much what 95% of the people on our team do, and that's what it takes to do the amount of fact-checking that we do at all the different levels. In the meantime, with that specialty, we've noticed fact-checking catch on around the world, but also in the United States. And we have a lot of worthy competitors now who are doing really impressive presentations, new formats. Fact-checking is growing, and there are all kinds of new impressive technologies that have emerged. We actually have some catching up to do, I think. And finally, we have you guys. We have readers who want immediate answers to whether something is true or not. And that is not so easy. The typical fact check takes 1 or 2 days of research, as my colleagues from Argentina explained. That's a must. We're not willing to compromise on that for the first time that we're looking at a claim. So a reporter will spend 1 to 2 days doing a deep dive. You'll do the interviews, you get your data, you condense it into 800 words. We're trying to keep it less than that. And then we put our fact-checking heads together at the editor level, and we decide what rating it should be. This is really a rigorous process, and it's important that we not be flip about our ratings, right? but that's a lot slower than I think what sometimes misinformation or big missteps in political rhetoric need. This is what readers actually expect us to do anytime something is like going down on social media or in a big speech. This is also our goal. We feel this pressure to respond right away. We have to be careful because sometimes in that effort to respond right away with the facts, and we sidestep that process on social media or in a tweet that we think is brilliant and witty, we actually have seen a lot of blowback. So we have to be really careful when we're trying to swerve on truth like that. I don't know, that's a weird expression. All right, so there are 3 things that we're thinking about that we really want to get better at. And one of them is we need to find claims faster. You guys did a great job explaining the hours of time it could take really to find the best claim. I think the most question I get the most often is like, how do you decide what to fact check? And that's really like what takes the most amount of time, I think. So we need solutions that help us find claims faster. We also need tech solutions to help us find more people, to expand our audience. The trust panel earlier was great. There are a lot of challenges in that, but we really want to make sure we're growing our audience and we're getting fact checks in the hands of people who need them, whether they are users online or they're just interested in the political process. Finally, we need to really emphasize pairing corrections with hoaxes or false statements ASAP. These are really important to us. But like I said, we're a team of writers, team of editors, and the signal went out. So, okay. So we are really very interested in a lot of these tech solutions that have come up, but we're not really like waiting around for some big monumental change to happen. We're doing a lot of kind of incremental innovating in the meanwhile. So the one thing we're really targeting is finding new audiences. And we've announced some really fabulous partnerships just this month to help us meet that goal. So a big one that came out recently was a new deal with Noticias Telemundo, which is going to translate our fact-checking work into Spanish for millions of Hispanic viewers. And that is really, really cool. We're kind of engaged in the translation process, so the fact check, translates well. But this is really cool. It's just getting off the ground. We also announced a new partnership with Kaiser Health News. Kaiser, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, they are top dogs in health reporting, especially on policy. They have a really deep bench of people who are experts on all kinds of topics. We have like one healthcare guy. So this is a really incredible opportunity for us to strengthen what we already do really well, which is cutting through political spin on healthcare. And finally, last year, my colleague Aaron Strockman and I started a totally new thing with a channel called Newsy. This is a Scripps Zone channel, and they liked this Facebook Live show we were kind of doing, super goofy, not that professional. But this has turned into a weekly Sunday morning TV show, and we managed to put this on despite not having anyone with real video experience on our staff of PolitiFact, and much less video editing, capabilities. But I want to show you a clip just so you get a flavor of what I'm talking about.
Welcome to What the Fact, a show built upon the idea that cheesy jokes, low-budget props, and fact-checking go together like Donald Trump and a Make America Great Again hat. Aaron, are you ready?
You just can't trust stories about Bill Gates, quite frankly.
Billions of dollars. Coincidence? Corruption. It just seems like it was written by a really stupid robot. Not a comma to be found. Pants on fire.
Pants on fire!
Thank you, Button.
We actually got some negative viewer feedback on the button, so it's out. But this is a really cool, really fun thing that we do. It doesn't take all that much more work. It doesn't require new fact-checking or new fact checks. We go over all of our stuff. We get to highlight our misinformation work, our local work, and, of course, our weekly White House segments. I guess I have a couple more things to cover. Bill alluded to this really cool robot that we use to help speed up those decisions that we make. This is a little screenshot from a CNN program last weekend. I was not watching it, which is what makes Bill's tool so good. This happened Sunday morning on CNN. It was a really interesting discussion on voter rights, new legislation to kind of crack down on voter legislation. And this is the digest that gets emailed to not just us, but American fact checkers, highlighting the best options that were said on CNN, which is really, really cool. I highlighted one in particular. I don't know why you're laughing. Oh, because Bill did not pay me to talk about this. But I highlighted one that is actually very interesting to me, and I assigned it to a reporter, kind of making my point that this stuff takes time. That fact check is still not done yet because we had other things to cover this week. But it was a great tip-off, so thank you, Bill, and the Claimbuster technology. And finally, one thing we've always done really well is local fact-checking. This is a really nice specialty of ours, and with the belief that the more local fact-checking that is done, if we're showing we can hold local politicians accountable, we might actually be able to win over more readers who can see what we're doing. So we want to do more things like we did in 2018, when we got a grant in September before the election, November election, and did all this crazy fact-checking in the most competitive congressional district races. That was really fun. And we also teamed up with local universities in red states like West Virginia and Missouri, and we continue to do a lot of aggressive fact-checking there, training their students, co-teaching with their professors to pass on our methods. We still have these big dreams. Many of you guys have made more progress than we have. But until then, our mantra is really we can't wait for that. We're going to do what we can while the solutions come to us. So, thank you.